Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Swarupaya Radha Krishna Pastimes
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Swarupaya Radha Krishna Pastimes
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Swarupaya Radha Krishna Pastimes
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Swarupaya Radha Krishna Pastimes Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayana 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 Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Gurubhakta Vrinda Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Gurubhakta Vrinda Gopala Govinda Rama Hari Bol Krishna Madana Mohana Hari Bol Krishna Gopala Govinda Rama Hari Bol Krishna Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Hari Bol Krishna Madana Mohana Hari Bol Krishna Gopala Govinda Rama Hari Bol Krishna Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama
Jaya Jaya Gauranga.
Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga,
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Haribo Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada.
Haribo Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev,
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda.
Haribo Krishna,
Ananda Paramahamsa.
Krishna,
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda.
Haribo Krishna,
Ananda Paramahamsa.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda. Paramahamsa Namine. Gora Karuna Swarupaya. Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prestayate.
So this morning, I have to discuss something that is very important. It is about seeing our situation. Yung attitude nyo ba? Yung attitude, it's about batasan nyo. Okay? How you deal with others, how you deal with yourself, and ano yung activities na ginagawa nyo that you're making progress towards engaging in devotional service. So devotion, it's about love, it's about care, it's about respect. Okay? So to be able to enter into the world of Lord Krishna and his devotees, to be a family, a part of that program, of that environment, I'll teach you the guidelines. So you'll always be situated in that environment. Okay? And what separates us from that world? Okay? So when nabigyan kayo ng pagkakataon, lahat kayo na nandito, to engage in a process wherein you can enter that world of a relationship in devotion with God. It's about loving God. Okay? You, the spirit soul, you're all given this opportunity to make a decision to relate to God. Okay? And the relationship must be amiable. It's about relating in loving devotion. Okay? So, the activities you're engaging in now, what manifests how you relate to the people, to your environment, to your friend, to your mother, to everybody, reflects your consciousness. Okay? Intindihan niya? Whatever action you do, it reflects what resonates from you. Ano yung lumalabas? It is about how you can see if you're making progress towards loving the Supreme Person. Okay? So in the third prayer of Lord Chaitanya, in the beginning, he gives us this benediction to be purified through the chanting of the holy names, to be experiencing the benefit, this boon, this gift, His love, through a process we practice, the chanting of the Maha Mantra. So, to recall, Maha means great, chanting for deliverance. Mantra means to draw the mind away from matter. So, the process that we follow and do every day delivers us from this encumberment that we're experiencing. Because if we are not engaging in a process that will detach us, purify us, then what will happen? We will be guided by material consideration, material contamination, based upon the three modes of material nature. So it's all about our will, what we want. Okay? Is it clear sa inyo? So makikita agad natin yung problem. Either bata, matanda, whatever situation you're in. So, the greatest boon or the process that will help us enter that relationship with the Supreme Person of being resituated again in a world of meditation between you, the spirit soul, you, me, in making a loving activities in devotion about love, doing the will of God. Okay? So He gives us a process to purify us, to free us, to deliver us from this material contamination. So we have already discussed what are material contamination. Number one, it is about the false ego. And it's been dictated by the three modes of material nature. And the problem we face is about how we identify with the mind, how we follow the desire in the mind, the desires, and how we use our intelligence to fulfill those desires. Now, we can see clearly that you can understand through God's mercy the difference between matter and life, you, the person, and what is a different energy from you, matter, okay? And if you analyze clearly that our immersion in doing or engaging in activities based upon following the dictates of the mind and the desire puts us in this predicament, this problem. Because we become attached to the world of suffering, to this temporary world. But illusion is very powerful. You see around, even now, di ba? Why are we so afraid of COVID-19? It is about death. Huh? Everybody wanted to experience freedom from this virus. Huh? So, you can see immediately that we're running away from, anong tinatakbuhan nyo lahat? Kamatayan, di ba? But this body is destined to die already. The moment you're born here, it's like a candle. When it's lighted, it becomes small and small, and then it's extinguished. For one who is born, death is certain. One who comes to this world to be in this body, nakatatak na ba? Hindi na kailangan sentensyahin ng death penalty. Pero bakit pinagpipilitan natin? Why? Di ba? Bakit, although in the face of reality, in the face of all this adversity, that we cannot find fulfillment and security in trying to take shelter of this material world, which is definitely the cause for us to suffer because of false bodily identification. How come we cannot give it up? It's because of our meditation. It's because of our activities where we direct our love, our service. And definitely it's about us, what we want to do. Okay? Huh? What you want to do is all about you. Okay? Kaya, if we engage in the practice of chanting the Maha Mantra, the holy names of God, the effect will be we will experience ananda or bliss, happiness. And the more we chant, the more we glide towards that longing for happiness, because it's about a relationship that has been there already and now being established again and becoming free from this material contamination, the disease of materialism. You're getting well when you take the medicine, the Maha Mantra. So yun yung process. So now, while we are engaging in the process of purification and understanding the wisdom, we must also watch our action. If it's not connected in devotional service, the garden in our heart, the plant will not flourish. Kasi we will not cultivate nicely the garden in our heart. What you'll cultivate is following the dictates of your mind, influenced by a force that's greater than us. Yeah? So the third prayer of Lord Chaitanya, one can chant the holy names of the Lord in a humble state of mind, feeling himself lower than the straw in the street, more tolerant than the tree, and devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy names of the Lord. So this humbleness. So when you chant, you can direct the mind. You can do the mind away from matter. Because the mind has been so focused in thinking and feeling and willing, connected to doing our will, trying to dominate material nature. So hindi yun ang solution. Okay? So now, our attitude, humbleness and respect. So the process is that you come here and you always say, Haribol, Namaste. Chant the holy names and I offer you my respect. Okay? Is it really internalized or it's just a cliche you say na nakikita nyo parate na honesty is the best policy? Okay? So you must substantiate it. How? By the help of God Himself, the chanting of the holy names. He Himself purifies our heart so we can experience this gentleness, what the spirit soul is really, who He really is, you. By nature, the spirit soul, you're gentle by nature. You're sweet, you're kind, you're respectful. But what have covered us, that we are now burdened by this heavy load? It is about the false ego, it's about the mind the lust, the anger, and the greed, and we're frustrated. We're carrying that because we identify with this body and the mind. Okay? So, aham brahmasmi, realization, you are not the body. Meaning, it must be a real experience for you because your life. And the direction of your life should be engaging in activities that will enhance your relationship with God. So, action speaks louder than words. Okay? Haribol, namaste, but I steal your things. Okay? Haribol, namaste, brother. I exploit you. I use you. So, it does not harmonize, or it's not in parallel with what you're saying and your action. Okay? So the process you engage in, it is not external ba? Panglabas. Because you'll not be happy and fulfilled. It is about you, the spirit soul, to be situated in your natural position and function as eternally the loving servant of God. And you should be the one to experience it. So the guidance given to us by Krsna and the instructing spiritual master brings us to that situation. Tindihan nyo, Chaitanya Das? Hindi yung dapat you're responsible for whatever you do. Sa pagsasalita, sa paggagalaw. And when we become purified from this material contamination, it's now natural for us to be respectful, to be caring, okay, to be tolerant, and you are not burdened anymore by this burden that you've been carrying on for so long, and this burden now is thrown away. Krishna takes it when you chant the holy names. And this experience becomes real to you because you experience happiness in your heart. You experience that you can now direct your mind and see the desire in the mind and make decision kung pleasing ba yung kay Krishna. Okay? Like now, Chaitanya Das is spacing out. Das. Okay? Hindi mo nakikita ba? Antok ka. Yeah? Pero mamaya gising ka na. Pasyadam naman. Okay? So dito nyo makikita how even though you're in a situation, you can become free. Yung kalaban natin, hindi actually kalaban. What has dominated us, what has encumbered us, shackled us, is this material disease. The influence of illusion, guided by Maya through the three modes of material nature. Goodness, passion, and ignorance. Okay? Kaya ko sinabi yon kasi how we relate. Kasi I've seen so many people, individuals, who chant, who relates to God, but because they have material consideration, they want God to do their will. Okay? That's the relationship. Now, kung hindi nila makuha, they get angry. Okay? They're not able to see, to be sensitive, that love is already there. But because of this arrogance, they think they're entitled. Alam mo entitled? Karapatan ko. Karapatan ko. Okay? So when you relate to Krishna in such a situation, in such a way, then you're in the wrong direction. Okay? Servant of God means hindi alipin. Meaning, you, the person, makes a decision by choice through this wisdom, this purificatory process that touches your heart to experience gentleness, care and love. But if you're not directed by what is natural, inseparable from you, dictated by the mind and anger, then you'll be carrying a great load. Okay? You will be directed by a force greater than you. Kaya the process is about freedom. Freedom from this cut-off of experiencing what is sweet, ananda, the pleasure of doing the will of God. So, the process we follow shows clearly where we should be directed. Anong gagawin natin? To experience ananda. And it comes with wisdom. It does not come with belief. It does not come with joining. I believe. Who cares about what you believe? Huh? Who cares about what you believe? I join. Who cares about it? And when the test comes, that you are now facing what is inevitable, that you have to leave everything, your shelter, this body, and you're attached to this body, to this control, this illusion that you are the Lord, then you come back here. Yun yan. To enter that world, you must be free from material contamination. And the goal is to experience pure, unalloyed, unconditional devotional service that will attract Lord Krsna. What attracts God? It is our unalloyed, pure, loving devotion. So, that is the goal, to be resituated in pure, unalloyed devotion, unconditional love. So ngayon, there are guidance how to do that. And I'll give you an example of someone who is in that situation. And the attitude I discussed a while ago about the third prayer of Lord Chaitanya, the guidance to be situated in that consciousness. Okay? It is about, the third prayer is about completely surrendering to God in humbleness, to be protected, to fall down, and to feel your loss. Okay? And an attitude that, yes, God loves me, Krishna loves me, unconditionally. He's my eternal friend. So you can fall down, feeling lower. And in that consciousness, your meditation is about surrender in devotion. Pero hindi man ganun yung situation if we are contaminated with material consideration, this false ego. Okay? It must be cut off. So how should we relate with one another? You say namaste, okay? One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy names of Lord Krishna. One should mentally honor anybody who chants the names of Lord Krishna. Mentally honor, namaste, haribol. But in a truest absolute sense, we offer respect to everyone, animate, living or non-living, because it belongs to God. The attitude is respect. Okay? But when a person is blinded by lust, anger, and greed, he sees differently because he identifies himself as this body and his goal in life is to do his own will. You want to do your own will? Okay, there's this playing field. Dito. Material world. Okay? Then when you're tired, this is not my role. And you're suffering so much, then you can follow this process. This opportunity given to you now. But if you don't take this opportunity, my point is don't push your luck so much. Okay? Don't be a gambler. Okay? Is it understandable, Govinda Dasi? Okay? One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, Diksha. So we offer our respects to those who are serving the spiritual master. And the devotee He is not concerned about people offering him respect. He's not concerned. What he's concerned is to do what is pleasing to God. One should associate with and faithfully serve the pure devotee who is advanced in undebated devotional service, whose heart is completely devoid of propensity to criticize others. That is the spiritual master. So the spiritual master's role is to guide, instruct. It's not fault finding. The spiritual master, he speaks the truth. And when a person is very honest, it seems arrogant, but it's the truth. But we see it differently. So, yung process, kaya nandito kayo, we should not be situated in a kanista adhikari, the lower stage. Lower stage means our material desire is still there and we chant. We chant. But the material desire, in our garden, there's so many weeds growing, hindi natin napuputol. So when you make progress in spiritual life, you are very careful now and become sensitive about your relationship that you are trying to establish again in loving service guided by the spiritual master. That becomes your life. Dindihan niya? So, meaning, you're dealing with people's lives. Sabihin, you're relating with individuals who are children of Krishna. That's why you offer respect to everybody. And in this age of Kali Yuga, the influence is always confusion, and everybody is combative and quarrelsome. Mga tao ngayon, puro away lang eh. Napansin nyo? Puro kaligut-gut, bagut-but. Diba? It's all about their fight to do their will. How they've been offended. But the guidance is the third prayer of Lord Chaitanya. But it doesn't mean somebody who comes here who'll put you in harm. You'll not defend yourself. Okay? Somebody who comes here chanting, but put you in a situation wherein that person begins to exploit you. That is not humbleness. That's stupidity. Okay? Somebody comes here, may dalang dunggab, tusukin ka, I am humble, dunggabong ko. Hindi gano'n ibig sabihin nun. Tindihan niya? Tolerant than the tree. You're tolerant to control the urge of the mind. And when you are able to practice this science of discipline through God's guidance to the process of devotional service, our love for God becomes enthused, becomes very close. You become sensitive that whatever you do is about your relationship in doing what is pleasing to God. So what separates us from that relationship? It is our will and about exploitation. Using others, living or non-living, for our enjoyment. Okay? Intindihan niya? Govinda Dasi? So, when you are sensitive enough through the chanting of the holy names, the living entity who's by nature kind and gentle, you become so sensitive that you relate with your brothers, your sisters, with love. You become tolerant. You don't see their handicap. You're able to tolerate. The price is not that high to experience calmness of the heart by being tolerant of others' activities, but not to the point wherein they're exploiting you, even though they're chanting, okay? Teaching you something different that will drive you away from this path wherein you're developing your affection to Krishna by teaching you wrong teaching, impersonalism, materialism, and associating with these people who are envious and who are envious and devious. Ano yung devious? Doble cara ba? Who are cunning. Alam mo yung cunning? Magulang ba? Parang wolf. Yeah. Parang nakita nyo yung buhaya, nakatingin lang sa inyo. Kagana yung bibig ba? Tingin mo, uy, hindi gumagalaw. Di ba? Mabait, hawak-hawakan mo ulo. Pasok mo yung ulo mo. So we should offer respect to those who are chanting. We must offer our humble obeisances to those who are initiated by the spiritual master, who are serving the spiritual master. And we only give our life without hesitation to God. And the representative of God is the spiritual master. Non-different. So who gives you the vision? Who gives you the vision para makita ang Diyos? God Himself. How? With the wisdom coming from God Himself, the instructing spiritual master, the saintly person. So everything we do is with clarity. Okay? With clarity. And when you are situated in this shelter of doing the will of God, all you do is about activities that will enhance your love for Him. Na very personal. Hindi showcase. Alam mo yung pakitang tao. Di ba? Hindi yung pupunta ka sa simbahan, lumuluhod ka, lumuluha ka, tapos tatayo ka doon, Lord, Lord, makasalanan ako. Diba? Kanta ka, di ba? Yung mga ganung bagay. Para ipakita sa mga tao, uy. Yeah. It's not about that. It's about resituated in our natural world of pure loving devotion. And every time we chant, we see how we fall far short. And in the face of adversity, we become tolerant. Kaya mong i-tolerate kasi kaya mong mag-engage sa austerity to hold on, to cling to that relationship. Di ba? We discussed Sutapa and the wife. They meditated for years and years. Di ba? The heat of the sun, the coldness of the wind, winter, they're there in meditation, their heart focused in praying, in devotion to Krishna. So when Krishna comes to this world, in this material universe, they're always there, taking part as Krishna's father and mother, playing that role, to be able to experience this taking care of God, an eternal relationship. So relationship in this world is temporary. You're not eternally the brother, physically, of your brother, but you're eternally the brother of your brother. Intindihan niya? Okay. Your mother is not your eternal mother. But you're connected eternally with that spirit soul because they're all children of Krishna. So how can you be connected with them eternally when you're connected in that world of devotion? So you can now experience this security in your heart that when Krishna tells us, my devotees will never be vanquished. Ano yung vanquish? Yung Bisaya? Yung devotee niya, walang mangyayari sa kanya na mawala siya. O lahat ng worry mo, si Krishna na mismo nagsabi. Then I'll tell you this story which happened to Maharaj Ambaris. There's this emperor, Maharaj Ambaris. The story is about his devotion to Lord Krishna. So the 9 process of devotional service, lahat yung ginagawa niya. Tayo, we're trying in practice, okay? So ano yung 9 process? Number 29, para we'll be guided. Number 1, hearing the names and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hearing the names and glories. Ano yung glories sa Bisaya? Kinakanta nyo parati sa siwang. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Kinakanta nyo yun, di ba? So dapat alam natin kung ano yung glories. The activities of the Supreme Person. The glories of God, protecting the devotees. Isa lang yun sa glories niya. His glory is that He loves us eternally. Okay? He shares to us the happiness that we long for. He comes as the holy names. He sends His loving representative, the spiritual master. Okay? So we should be appreciating that. But because of our conditioning, in the beginning, we don't have taste for that. So this person, Maharaj Ambarisa, he's an emperor. Okay? He practices every day. He goes to the temple, he sweeps the temple, he takes care of the deity, he chants the holy names, he makes friends with Krsna, he surrenders his life to Lord Krishna. The 9 process of devotional service, absolutely he's doing it. Okay? And even though one process we follow, we achieve pure loving devotional service if we follow the science. And it's based upon the 3rd prayer of Lord Chaitanya. Humbleness and doing the will of God. To take shelter of God. In this world, we have to protect ourselves always. We have to struggle for survival. Yeah? What survival? Survival to find happiness? No? The spirit soul will always survive. He will never die. So the survival should be the taste of loving devotion. To be connected in serving God. So Maharaj Ambaris is cleaning the temple, bowing down to the deity, chanting the holy names, making friends with the devotees, and his associates are all loving servants of God. Okay? So one day, Durvasa Muni with his 2,000 disciples passed by. So it's natural that they pass by to his kingdom. And he invited them to eat meal with him. In-invite niya ba? Okay, you can come. Kasi ganun yung process eh. You invite saintly person, holy man. Because that is the role of someone who is a king or an emperor to take care of the constituent. So in-invite na sila kumain. But sabi ni Durvasa Muni, will take first bath in the holy river. Okay? So dinala niya lahat yung disciple niya. But because he's a great mystic yogi, you cannot estimate his power. So while he's there, through his mystic power, he can see with this subtle technology what Maharaj Ambaris is doing. Anong ginagawa ni Maharaj Ambarisa sa kingdom niya habang naliligo sila? May ano siya, yung GPS, parang yung CTV. Hindi yung CTV na kakabit pa niya, no. He has this power. Saka, he is easily displeased and if he's displeased, he'll get angry and curse you. Okay? So, nangyari, si Maharaj Ambaris, nagpa-fasting siya. Nagpuasa ba siya? So ngayon, anong gagawin niya? Kasi yung pagpuasa niya, kailangan i-break na ba niya? I-break na niya. Into na ba niya? Parang ngayon, Ramadan, di ba? Magpuasa sila. Pero, ang problem, i-break niya yung puasa niya. Paano? Kasi in-invite niyang kumain sila eh. Di ba? Pero kailangan i-break niya na. So tinanong niya ngayon sa mga advisor niya, mga brahmanas, how can I break this, break the fast and not break my promise to Durvasa Muni? Kasi pag brinake mo yung fast mo, kakain ka na, di ba? Anong gagawin ko? So na ngayon, may problema siya, di ba? Kasi nag-promise siya eh. May word of honor sila. Okay, I invite you to come and eat with me and all your disciples. Ngayon, pag i-break mo yung fast, kakain ka man. So hindi ka na truthful sa promise mo. Ganon sila ka ano. So nangyari, tinanong niya, paano ko i-break yung fast na hindi ko ma-offend si Durbasa Muni? Kasi nag-promise ako, sabay kaming kakain. Yun lang ha. Sabi ng Brahmanas, you can take water. You're not eating, but you'll not be breaking your fast. Kasi hindi ka kumain lagay. Nag-take ka lang ng water. So ngayon, uminom siya ng tubig. Okay, brinake na yung fast niya. E nanood si Durbasa Muni. May parang sa mystic, he can see ba? Galit siya. This person is not truthful. Nag-promise siya na in-invite niya ako kumain, nauna siyang kumain. Hindi siya truthful. So nagalit siya, humila siya ng buhok sa ulo niya. And then lumabas yung demon to kill Maharaj Shambharis. Yung demon, paglabas ng demon, wow, parang he can destroy the whole universe. He's burning with yung mata niya and the fire na nag-emanate sa kanya. Pumunta siya kay Maharaj Shambharis para patayin si Maharaj Shambharis. Okay? Para patayin. So hindi nangyari yon kasi nandoon man si Krsna. Prinotek ni Krsna si Maharaj Shambharis. Kaso dahil na-open ni Durbasa Muni, yung devotee niya, at ang promise niya, my devotees will never be vanquished. There will be no one dearer to me than someone who has completely surrendered his life. Walang pinakamahal niya kundi someone who's loving him. Si Maharaj Shambharis. And we can also be loving the Supreme Person like Maharaj Shambharis. So nangyari, prinotek si Maharaj Shambharis. So ginawa ni Lord Krsna, yung Sudarshan Chakra, hinabol ngayon si Durbasa Muni. Nakita ni Durbasa Muni, nandyan na yung Sudarshan Chakra. Alam niyo yung Sudarshan Chakra? Yung weapon ni Krishna, na wheel na umiikot, na sharper than the switchblade, na pumuputol sa ilo ng demon. Okay? Hinabol ngayon siya. So punta ngayon, takbo siya. Takbo siya sa mga demigods. Okay? Takbo siya marami siyang pinuntahan. Takbo siya sa isang saintly person, sa isang demigod. Okay? Sabi ng demigod sa kanya, I think it's Lord Shiva. I cannot do anything because you offended Lord Krsna. And Lord Krsna is my master. I cannot do anything. So, takbo na naman siya. Punta siya sa higher planetary system kay Lord Brahma. Sabi ni Lord Brahma, I cannot do anything. Okay? So, pumunta siya kay Lord Vishnu. Kaya niya pumunta kay Lord Vishnu. Okay? Punta siya kay Lord Krsna. Okay? Sabi ni Lord Krsna, I cannot do anything because you offended my devotee. Why don't you go back to him and ask forgiveness? Okay? So, pumunta siya sa mga demigod lahat, kay Lord Brahma, at pumunta na rin siya kay Krsna. Sabi ni Lord Krsna, no, I cannot do anything because you have offended my pure loving servant. Then you go back to him. Okay? That's the only way. So, he went back. Pagdating niya ron, tumatakbo siya papunta sa devotee, kay Maharaj Shambharis. Yung Sudarshan Chakra niya sa likod niya, umiikot, putulin yung ulo niya. Ginawa ni Maharaj Shambharis nung nakita na takot siya, dahil mapaputulin yung ulo niya eh. Takot siya. Kasi yung Sudarshan Chakra is Krsna, not different from Krsna. Because he offended the devotee. And the devotee is very dear to Krsna. That's what happened. Krsna went out of his way to punish him for his atrocity to put the devotee in harm's way. Patayin yung devotee. Okay? Sabi ni Krishna, my devotee will never be vanquished. Nothing can touch them, even one tip of their hair. Because I will be there to protect them. So, pinakita yung kay Maharaj, who can protect you? Krishna. That's why the lotus feet of the spiritual master instruction is our protection. And what is that all about? It's a relationship of complete surrender to God. Embracing Him. Okay? Yun yung mundo na pinasok natin. Pinapasok natin ngayon. We're cultivating this garden in our heart so that plant will grow to taste that pure, loving, unalloyed devotion to God. That Lord Chaitanya came here, God Himself, to taste what is sweet. And what is that sweetness? It is you, the person, your heart, your love, in offering it in a relationship with God. Kita niya? Hindi ba sa mundo na to, ba't may debut? Di ba? Alam yung debut? Di ba? Mga girls gusto mag-debut ako, di ba? Kasi ipapakita doon, my sister, my daughter is now open to the market. You can ask her hand and marry her, Di ba ganun ang debut? And they sang, may gumagawa pa nga sila, ganito. Merong mga, gawin natin para talagang heavy ang dating. Okay? Biglang, may mga kanta yung mga kanta na talagang, yung puso mo talagang, how can I live without you? Tapos, yung mga nandun lahat yung mga nag-a-apply para to marry, yung magdidibu. Okay? Makuha yung kamay niya. Okay? Yung matamis niyang, will you marry me? Oo. Pero yung mga parents nandun lahat sila, may damit pa. Kumisa iba-ibang kulay. So meron pang biglang mamaya, bababa, yung kalabasa. Pagbukas ng kalabasa, lalabas siya ngayon. Tapos mayroong lalapit doon na naka-choreograph, naka-tuxedo, yung DI ba yun? Dance instructor. Okay? Hindi mo na yung mga nanonood doon na ino-offer yung product. Yung nag-debut. Okay? This is what you can get. Okay? So, ini-introduce siya doon. Ikaw naman, you want to experience this affection and love. Okay? So, ipapakita mo yung galing mo. Di ba? Magsayaw ka, tapos nandun yung DI. Di ba? Sasayaw sila yung sayaw ng tugtog rito, yung tugtog nila? Yung sa yoga dance, yung waltz, di ba? Ano yung waltz na yun? I was dancing with my partner. Di ba? Tapos, yung DI naman talagang, alam mo, magkurug-kurug, tapos siya nakapikit, tapos kamay, di ba? I was dancing, tapos lahat nakatingin. I want that. Okay? I'm gonna give my love, my heart. Ikaw naman, this is what I'm offering. Okay? Okay? So pagbaba niya, pagbukas ng kalabasa, damit niya, kulay kalabasa rin, yellow. Okay? Kasi yun lahat yellow. Okay? Yung music talagang lahat nanonood. So lahat, sinong gustong sumayaw? Di ba? Lahat nakatingin. So, kung kung negosyo, bili ka ng ticket. Highest bidder. Highest bidder, okay? Kasi may bayad ba lahat yun? Pero dito, yung price, you're gonna throw your love away. And this person who's there, misguided, he'll gonna take that love na hindi naman pala love. A relationship of, I will just be, how can I eat you? How can I use you? How can I enjoy you? Okay? Pero so you have to show, look what I got. Diba? Gawa ka ng senaryo. No? Try to, ganun si Maya. Pero you don't see that if you are not purified from material consciousness. How many people engage in devu? Di ba? Dami. You ask them, are they happy? Huh? Are still they dancing? Na ginawa nila na, I was dancing with my loved one. Di ba? At pumunta sila sa dambana na, alam mo, nag-ring, tapos, show your affection. Kiss kayo. You know? Di ba? You ask them, are still they kissing one another? Or they're fighting with one another? Okay? Yun ang mundo rito. Perverted. So I'm talking about this, about devotion. So when we relate to God, it's an eternal relationship. So ginawa ni Maharaj Ambaris, kaya inano para gisingin lang ba kayo? So ginawa ni Maharaj Ambaris, palapit pa lang si Durvasa Muni, lumapit na siya. Nag-bow down kasi si Durvasa Muni. At ginawa ni Maharaj Ambaris, tinaas siya yung kamay na huminto yung Sudarshan Chakra. Suspended animation na umiikot. At hindi na kailangan mag-ask ng forgiveness si Durvasa Muni. Tinaas siya ni Maharaj Ambaris niyakap. Okay? Yun yung devotee. Hindi yung gabaan kapag dugay. Mirisi. Di ba? Kasi you're not in control, di ba? Hindi ka in control eh. Kaya sabi mo, moabot gid panahon, gabaan ka. Makita na sa Ginoo, sa gihimo nimo sako. Ha? It's not like that. This is in a different world. It's a gentleness of heart. It's the sweetness of making someone happy. Okay? So, niyakap niya, then they have meal together. Kain sila pareho. Okay? Nag-usap sila about the glories of Krishna. Yun yung devotee. Kaya, how we relate to one another shows our progress in spiritual life. Okay? Kasi nandito kayo sa Madana, nakakausap nyo si Nichalila parate, pagtagal naging natural na sa inyo, nagiging disrespectful na kayo sa mga nagtuturo sa inyo. Okay? Wala na yung pasasalamat nyo. Although hindi sila nag-aas ng pasasalamat sa inyo. Kaya yung devotee kasi is very cold about false ego. Kasi false ego is not real. Okay? So you relate to the devotee in false ego, cuts you immediately. Cut. Kasi it's not you. Kaya lang, dahil nag-identify ka sa false ego, anong mapipil mo? Luwi kayo ko. Gitaog-daog ko sa mga tao. Di ba? Gipasipala ko nila. Di ba? Pero wani mo nakita, di ba? Nang ginagawa mo. For example, isang person. Galit siya sa isang tao. Okay? Hindi niya nakita, yung tao na to, na galit siya, gusto niyang talagang ipakita yung galit niya. Siya yung gumawa ng bahay, siya yung nagtayo, siya yung nagtatrabaho ngayon doon, na makalakad siya rito ng walang putik. Hindi niya nakikita yun. Ang nakikita lang niya, entitlement. Entitlement. Alam mo, entitlement? Maayo kong tao. Okay? Ngano ko, itrato nyo ko, wala ko mali. Diba? Ngano inanaw mo sa ako? Ha? Kita nyo? And then you get angry. Ha? As if you're entitled. You're not entitled. But the false ego will put you in that situation, that material contamination. You're entitled to enjoy and exploit without encumbrances. You have the right. Entitlement ba? It's my right to feel happy. But that is complete illusion because it's directed about this body, the false ego. Now you don't see that. That's why the chanting of the holy names will deliver you. God Himself will deliver you from this contamination. And the spiritual master is someone who gives you instruction to tell you the truth. Kaya Sat Chit Ananda, Sat means your eternality, a different energy from matter, transcendental. And Chit means wisdom about your true transcendental nature and how to relate to God. And the easiest way to achieve that is the prime benediction, the chanting of the holy names. God Himself. And who will purify you? God Himself. He's the supreme purifier. Govinda, Krishna, He has unlimited names, none different from Him, invested with transcendental potencies. Okay? So that will free us to be unburdened from this load we're carrying. The encumbrances of false ego. Okay? You're able to tolerate the urge of the mind. You're able to offer respect to others. Not feeling to be respected. Because that is not your goal. Your goal is to be situated in your meditation to experience this offering of devotion to the Supreme Person, guided by the process of devotional service that Maharaj Ambaris is engaging in. He's in this spontaneous transcendental relationship. Now we are in practice. Okay, how do we practice devotional service? Through the guidance of someone who knows how we can be situated. So it's not a game we play, it's not you join, it is about you. That even though you leave this body, if you're situated in that world of loving devotion, it continues. Because Krishna will be there, that you will never forget. He will be the one to always put you in a situation where you will be embraced by Him. Because He loves you eternally. Pero hindi natin nakikita yun when we are just focusing in doing our will. Okay? Is it clear sa inyo? Clear sa inyo? Okay? Clear to everybody? So it's a science. Science means a process you engage in and you achieve a certain result. Okay? Tindihan nyo? Halimbawa, nag-experiment kayo. Ano yung experiment nyo? Halimbawa, pag sama-sama, ganito na lang. Ano yung science na ginagawa nila, yung process ngayon na ginawa nila para mamatay yung virus na COVID? Yung vaccine, di ba? And they went through all the process of doing experiment. And now they have this antidote. Medicine to put up yung COVID, patayin yung virus. Okay? So marami silang product na na-produce. Di ba? Pero dahil through their experiment, mapapansin nyo, ang kinakatakutan ng lahat is that ang pagpatay sa virus, poison. Poison na. Kasi during the times before, they were able to find out na yung gamot ba? Alam mo yung epileptic ba? Yung kalit na lang nagdula mo basketball, kalit na lang matumba tapos magkirik-kirik mong laway, wawa, di ba? Di ba? Nakakita kayong ganon? Baboy-baboy ang tawag nyo. Di ba? Di ba? So they found out that may gamot na pwedeng gamitin in minute, but it's poison. Kung ngayon, kung gagamitin mo yun ng walang research, walang pag ginamit mo sa iba, pwedeng mamatay yung person. So, during the ancient times, ganun yung ginawa nila nung may mga pandemic sa China. Ang ginamit nila, poison to fight yung pandemic ng mga virus na ganyan. So, maraming side effects. So, ang point ko lang dito, yung situation natin ngayon is that sa paghahanap natin ng kasagutan sa problema, kung ang gusto nating solvein yung problema ng pandemic na to, so may science para doon. Okay? They can do that. But there is also a science of how we engage activities na ginagawa nyo. A certain activity will lead to a certain consciousness. Okay? Halimbawa, kung ang activity mo talagang into ka sa basketball, di ba? So, panaginip mo laging bola. Anong bola? Maayo ba? Ang bola ba? Spalding? Okay, alam niyo Spalding? Yung mahal yun dahil balat yun O yung bola lang yun na made in China na rubber, na pag-dribble nyo mamaya, gawas na ang hangin, di ba? So, sa certain activity leads to a certain consciousness. So pagkausap nyo yung panday, ang pinag-uusapan nila doon, planer, lagari. Okay? Pagkausap naman nyo yung mga driver, pinag-uusapan nila lagi, anong klaseng sasakyan, di ba? Pagkausap nyo yung mekaniko, pinag-uusapan nila anong makina, anong klase. Electrician, ang pinag-uusapan naman nila, anong klaseng wire ang gagamitin nyo. Either made in China ba o yung ano yung dapat, undersize, oversize. So, ibig sabihin nun, a certain activity leads to a certain consciousness. And a certain consciousness leads to a certain activity. So dahil si Maharaj Ambaris, ang activities niya is doing the will of God, and activities niya is centered on hearing, chanting, remembering, offering his life to God, surrendering to God, making friends with the devotee, doing the will of God, then definitely and absolutely, his heart, his mind is focused upon pleasing God. That is the reason you chant, to please God. And because God loves you so much, He embraces you through the holy names. Kaya yun yung effect na dati, if you look closely in history, lahat ng mga nagcha-chant, karamihan, hindi yung mga karamihan, it's very hard for them to stop smoking. It's very hard. You know? But when they chanted the holy names, immediately, it's cut off. Bakit? Why? Because that is the power of the holy names. Ang hirap ba kasi yung smoking, you become addicted to nicotine and you're looking for happiness. Gusto mong punuin yung puso mo with hangin. Yeah? Tapos hindi na pupuno, kaya hawak mo na lang yung sigarilyo. May pakete ka rito, may pakete ka pa rito. Uupos na lang, nakatunganga ka pa rin. Okay? So you're now under an influence that you're not in control anymore. You're not responsible anymore, but you're accountable. Because you made a choice to engage in activities that has a corresponding reaction. Karma. As you sow, you shall reap. Okay? Intindihan mo? Is it clear sa inyo? Brinda? That's it? And all the teachers? So, I'll tell this again. Hearing the names and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you hear about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You become attached to Him because it connects you with the source of happiness. It purifies you. And Krishna's promise, my devotee will never be vanquished. And Krishna is the supreme controller. From Him comes remembrance and forgetfulness. To be able to enjoy falsely, you must be in illusion. To find happiness in fulfilling your emptiness, your love with inanimate matter. Inanimate ba? Alam mo inanimate? Non-living. Non-living, walang buhay. Kaya definitely frustrated ka. Is it hard to understand? But you cannot understand that clearly if you are under the influence of material nature and your surrender to God is contaminated. It's because you want to do your will and you see God as someone to do your will. Okay? Kaya punta ka sa simbahan, Diyos ko po, ihatag ni sa ako. Ang sinasabi lang nyo, Diyos ko po, gawin mo yung gusto ko. Okay? Buutan ba ako? Okay? Muhatag ko balloon pag Christmas o bubble gum sa mga kabus. Okay? Buutan ba ako? Nagsilbi ko sa katawhan, maghatag ko sa ila usa ka dosena sardinas o tulo ka kilo bugas tuwing Christmas. So that's not our... Making friends with the Lord. So that is very important. That's very important. Di ba? Making friends with the Lord. How can you make friends with the Lord? By acting as the Lord's servant. Kagaya ng kinikwento ko sa inyo, di ba? Nakasakay ka sa sasakyan. Uy, pagkita mo, nakaupo ka, natutulog ka, nagising ka, humot man kayo, pagtingin mo, kagwapa. Di ba? Okay? Maski dyan sa labas, nandiyan man kayo kahapon, nakita ko kayo. Nandun kayo lahat nakaupo. Nandun man yung mga girls na wala, dapat umuwi na, pero nandun sa harap nyo. Pa-ek-ek-ek-ek, patanong-tingnan, showing their, it's the influence of Maya, and kayo nakaupo doon. Ba't nandito pa to? Umuwi na to. Di ba? Pero kayo dati, nagbabantay sa loob, nasa labas na rin kayo ngayon. Di ba? Hindi nyo napapansin yun eh. Hindi nyo napapansin, di ba? Nandun kayo sa labas eh, nanonood ako. Sa una, pinabantay kayo sa loob. Para hindi kayo makovid pag ng tao, o pasok ka muna, hugas ang kamay. Pero nandun naman kayo nakaupo sa labas dahil wala si madam. Okay? Wala ako. Okay? Ay, nandun si Maya nagsasayaw sa harapan nyo. Okay? So, ganun kalakas si Maya na akala mo, by the presence of Maya, para pag naglakad ka sa dagat, hindi mo alam, maalat ka na, pero naglalakad ka, sabi mo, huwag mo ko nakipag-storya sa iyo, nagtanaw-tanaw lang ko kay, murag gwapo man kayo na siya, oy. Tapos sila rin ganun, kagwapo ng mga, taga-asa na sila? Tapos nandun sila nakatayo. Sa una, pagdating nila rito, naka-mask. Ngayon, wala nang mask. Pinapakita na nila yung sweet smile nila habang yung mata nakatingin sa inyo. Kayo naman, yung mata nyo nakatingin sa kanila. At yung imagination nyo, hindi nyo nakapansin yun eh. Because you're not in control anymore. The urge of the mind. Naintindihan nyo? I'm not talking here about joining or anything. It's about awareness. That's why the third prayer of Lord Chaitanya, if you follow that through the chanting of the holy names, then you'll be situated in full awareness of your relationship with God. Hindi na yung nakaupo kayo doon, si Maya nagsasayaw sa inyo, parang yung devu na bababa na sa loob ng kalabasa magbubukas. Ito hindi na eh. Nasa harapan na nyo eh. Dati pagdating dito, talaga nakatabon, ang haba na, ngayon naka-shorts naman sa harap nyo. Oo, ganun man yan. Okay? Parang yung, alam nyo, kwento ko sa inyo to Kwento ko sa inyo. Dati, nakamarry siya ng brahmachari. Parang ikaw, brahmachari. Yung girl na to, brahmacharini. Tapos nakita na itong brahmachari na to, he likes to sing. Talagang, gusto niya kumanta. Kaya mga kanta niya talagang, pag kumakanta siya, parang wow. So gusto niya makuha yung young boy na yon. So punta siya, kaibigan niya, ikot-ikot siya. Tapos nakita niya, anong gusto nun? Musikero. Nagregalo siya ngayon ng gitara. Okay? Nag-gitara. Okay? Nagbigay siya ng magandang gitara. Wow. So that relationship now is established. Okay? Parang yung ginagawa sa inyo sa labas. Di ba? Patanong-tanong, na ba klase ugma? Okay? Unsay sulti ni madam? Di ba? Kaunsa ang test na to? Di ba? So distancing man. Pero yung boses, pumapasok na sa senses nyo. Distancing, pero pumapasok na sa mata nyo. Okay? Dadaan sa malayo, pero naligo man sa bench, pahumot. Kaya, humot man. Okay? So you are now being enticed by Maya. And you're not a witness anymore. You have become the actor na. Okay? Sa drama na yon. Para bang, to be an actor kasi you have to feel na ikaw yung talagang probinsyano na pulis. So, pipigain mo talaga na, you play that, meditate na, contemplate, pulis ka. Okay? So, ngayon, di ka na witness, actor ka na sa mundo na yon. At may humihila sa inyo na, yung puppet master. Lahat kayo gusto maging master. Puppet, alin puppet master? So, anong ginagawa nila? They want you to show their wares. Look what I've got. Di ba? So, gusto ka nilang i-control. Pero hindi mo alam, kinokontrol na sila ni Maya at sila yung medium para i-control yung senses mo. Kasi attached ka sa body. Attached ka sa sense. Nakikita mo yung porn na yun. Lalo na kung naka-shorts hanggang dito, halos lumalabas na yung lubot. Tapos may shorts pa rin para itago yung lubot na itim. Nandun ka. Distancing. Pero hindi ka na in distance. Yung contemplation mo nandun na. Ha? You laugh, pero it's real. Okay? So yun yung nagchat-chat. So yung binigyan ng gitara, dahil sa lagi silang, turuan mo nga ako ng mga chords, kasi gusto kong mag-gitara rin. So nagsama-sama sila for so long. Napangasawa niya yung brahmachari. Tapos biglang mamaya, lumapit siya kay Srila Prabhupada, crying. Miserable ako sa kanya. At ayaw niya akong mahalin. Okay? Sabi siya, Prabhupada, it's you who initiated. You gave him the guitar. No? Ikaw yung nag-initiate eh. Touch move. So ngayon, you experience that. Kaya ang gitara, ginawa nung binigyan niya ng gitara, baka pinupok na sa ulo niya sa, how come I miserable? Kaya nangyari, yung person na nagbigay ng gitara, akala niya sasaya siya, at yung nabigyan ng gitara, nakita niya ang laking responsibility. Biro mo, okay, magkaanak kayo. Okay? Wala kang ginawa kundi mag-gitara lang. Wala kang trabaho. Walang folk house eh. Ngayon, wala man. Hindi ka, may folk house ba ngayon na pwede kang kumanta ng yung kanta ni na You Got a Friend? Di ba? Wala. So wala kang trabaho. Yung bata umiiyak. Wah! Ano yung papakain mo? Kailangan ng gatas. Di ba? Pag uwi mo, nandun yung nanay. Kung nakatira ka lang sa bahay ng nanay, wala kang trabaho. Lahat nakatingin sa'yo habang kumakain ka. Di ba? Kumakain ka. Lunch, dinner na. Upo ka doon. Di ba? Tapos umiiyak yung bata. Umilak na. Uy, gatas. So, it's a complicated world if you try to dominate material nature, to do your will. Why not take shelter of the supreme enjoyer, the supreme control, the supreme provider? Sabi ni Lord Krsna sa mga sabi ng devotee, look at the birds in the sky, how they fly freely. Look at the lilies in the field, how they bloom nicely. Who takes care of them? The Father. Who gives you the air? Krishna. Who gives you the light? Krishna. But because we're blinded by these lusts, we don't see that. Okay? Yun ang dapat man. That is a pure devotee. So the goal is to have pure unalloyed devotion, which is there in your heart, all of us. Because you're a pure, loving servant of God. And we don't belong to this world. Pero kung gusto nyo sayawan dyan ng sa labas, okay din. Kakanta niya. Then, nag-chant lang. But yung chant is about, I, me, mine. I, me, mine. I, me, mine. Even in tears, so kaya even you cry, everything is about you. In tears. Hindi nyo napapansin yun eh. Alam mo yung zombie? Para bang naglalakad kayo. Zombie 1. Nakapanood kayo na parang naglalakad lang. Naghahanap ng dugo para kagatin. Ganun na. You're not in control anymore. Yun. Di ba? Picture taking. Para, picture taking. So, na yun? Okay. So, yun ang doon. Hindi mo alam, naputus ka na ba? Kinsay nagputus? Okay. So ngayon, dahil nag-initiate ka ng ganong meditation, yung mind mo na focus lang. Okay? Where your mind is, that's where your heart is, that's where your mind will go. Kung inisip mo, makahatag ni Kalipay, bakay kagwapa man kaayo, oy. Murag cute kaayo, I have to protect her. I have to have her. Hindi ba? I can embrace her. Ay siya naman, wow, mga buutan ni mga bata ba, taga-tampilisan, di ba? Okay? Lagi na lang naka-spy. Lalo na si John, si Sheisha. Sige lang, pag makita na ako, naka-smile. Di ba? Sa among balay, mga tao puro kaligudgud, bagudbut. So dun yung makikita ba? Si Maya dumarating na sa inyo kasi narinig nila ba? There's a new kid in town. Okay? Pero there's a new kid in town. Pero ang reality, there's an old boy in the material world but in a place. Okay? Parang kayo rin, diba? Para bang, kamukha ka ng kaibigan ko sa Tampilisan ba? Kamukha ka ng kaibigan ko. Si Candy ba? Kilala mo siya? Okay? Tapos, pag ganun niya, nahulog yung panyo, Pagkuha mo, uy, handkerchief mo. Tapos, uy, pwede bang, yung cellphone mo ba, anong number mo? Okay? So, nandun ka na, gagawa ka na. Dahil sa meditation mo, gagawin naman nyo, tawag ako kay mama. Saan yung cellphone? Okay? May phone number man siya, okay? The more na yung senses mo, dahan-dahan. Ito yung science ni Maya. Kwento ko sa inyo, para makita nyo paano kayo nahuli sa bitag. Di ba? May palabas, ang bitag. Okay? Okay? So, ganito yan. Okay? Through sense perception. Sense perception mo, nakita mo. Wow. Paano yung sense perception? Dumaan sa harap mo. Kahumot. Yeah? Kahumot. Kaya naligo man sa pabango. Okay? Okay? Paglakad, naka-short, na puti. Okay? So, maski na amends, di mo gawas ang dugo. Di ba? Ha? Wow. Di ba? Yeah? Tapos, pag agi sa imo, pag sa harap nyo, nakakita ng sikat, gitaas ang kamot, sikat. Okay? Way baho ang kilikili. Kay naman, Rexona. Okay? Puti. To sense perception, kini. Okay? Brand new. Okay? Brand new. Okay? Okay? Kanta nila parati doon, like a virgin. Di ba? Kanta ni Madonna. Yun sumasayaw. So, wow, this is it. Okay? At nasa harap nyo. Sense perception, you begin to contemplate. Ngayon, nandyan na sa harap nyo. Okay? Paano yung contemplation? Naamoy nyo, nakita nyo, na-feel nyo. Biglang binangga ka. Matutumba. Kaya sinalo mo ngayon. Oh, knight in a gallant armor na para pag nagtumba siya, you're there to hold her on. Pag matumba. Okay. You're a nice person, a gentleman. Okay? This game we play here, it's people playing that game. So from sense perception, one begins to contemplate. I want it. Then you go for it. Then from that point, lust develop. Ano yung lust? Matinding pagnanasa. Okay? Ano yung matinding pagnanasa? Gusto mong matikman, makain, mayakap para magbigay kapunuan sa puso mo. Okay? Dahil hindi naman, nakikita mo yung damit lang eh. Yung damit lang ba? Kung may pupunta pala dyan na nakatungkod, walang mata. Piang ba? O sabihin, selfie together. Gawin niya. Di ba? Tapos, hindi naligo. Galing dun sa happy home. Ang buhok parang buha. Tapos nandun sa inyo, nakatingin. Ha? Anong gagawin mo? Anong reaction mo? You'll be repelled. Di ba? Kasi makita mo yung reality eh. Okay? Pero pag in illusion, you cannot see that. So you begin to contemplate, meditate, and then you follow. Lust develops. And once lust develops, you go for it. And then you get frustrated. And you become angry. And when you're angry, you lose your intelligence. And when you lose your intelligence, you are thrown into this world of chaos. Hindi mo na alam gagawin mo. Di ba? Kagaya ng maraming nangyari niyan. Gugma nagyud ni. Sulti sa mamagday, dili pa, kay mag-eskwela ka pa. Di ba? Dili, gugma ni. Akong sundo na akong gugma. Okay? So, ganun din mangyari sa inyo. Nasa training kayo, sabi, uy, parang yung namin dito, yung brahmachari pumunta rito, pakita niya sa teacher. Kagwapa sa teacher. Okay? So, email. Namiri niya. Okay? Then after a while, mess ang buhay niya. Okay? Pero hindi ko sinasabi na magiging messy yung buhay. But my point is this, with this attitude of false ego and this contamination, wherein you are not really focusing upon doing the will of God and serving God, will put you into suffering. And you will put others into suffering. Okay? Kaya yung devotee, he respects Maya. Kaya somebody comes, I offer you my respect, sister. Hindi, I offer you my respect, sister, beso-beso. No, it's not like that. So that's the point, I've seen, and one thing also, I have friends, especially girls, girls kasi, yung mga boys kasi, you show toughness. I'm tough. I never cry. Di ba kayo? Di ko muhilak. Gahi ko, di ba? But the girls, they're soft-hearted actually, the girls, because they cry. Pero kayo, macho man kayo, hindi kayo hihiyak. Pero kayo mga girls, attracted sila sa pag-serve kay Krishna. Okay? Kaya lang, girls are susceptible na mabola. Yeah, because their emotion to love, when it's misdirected, they can be cheated. Hindi kagaya nyo, gahig yun, di ba? Bago pa lang managanda yun. Yeah? Karon, nailad mo kasi naatik ba? Kaya ngayon, kung sinabihan, uy, halimbawa, yung kausap nyo, matalino, uy, kagwapo imong ngipon. Gusto ni mo akong ngipon? Oo. Imo na ni. Kagwapo imong mata. Gwapo. You love me? My body? O ako mata, bulag man ko, gibutangal ni Holland ba na? Imo na ni. Love, lagay mo dun sa altar. Isabi mo sa mata ko, will you marry me? Yes, you can marry. This world is a crazy world. If you are not guided by God, if you're not guided with your true transcendental nature as eternally the loving servant of God, and you're not situated in the third prayer of Lord Chaitanya to take shelter of Krishna and embrace Krishna, then you have a great problem. Okay? So ngayon, mangyayari niyan, contemplation. Okay? Uwi kayo sa ngayon. Pero may technology man. So yung heart nyo, I left my heart in Cubao Di ba? My mind. Kaya nandun kayo sa Tampilisan, naisip nyo, COVID man, hindi ako pwede mag-travel. Pero si Cassandra nandun. Nakita ko dumaan, galing pa sa ibang eskwela at nandun naghihintay sa akin. Paano kung mawala siya? Makakita siya na mas gwapo pa sa akin. Di ba? Kaya yung meditation mo, I'm gonna go and get her. I'm gonna go and get her. Kaya, hinihila ka ng nanay mo ba, damit mo, ibitiwan niyo ako. Pag-ibig to. Okay? Gagu. Okay? So the devotee is very honest. Sometimes he's arrogant, pagkakala nyo, to tell the truth. The truth seems arrogant, but it's the truth. Okay? So, understand? So, we'll continue again. So, to recap, Krishna's promise, my devotee will never be vanquished. He gives us the greatest benediction to be able to be situated in our true transcendental nature as eternally the loving servant of God. A science that is eternal, absolute, and the process is God Himself loving us and embracing us, and all what we have to do is take shelter of the holy names. Okay? Is it clear? Clear sa'yo? Okay? Kaya huwag ka na magpunta para sa salamin ba? Tingin, you're being loved by Krishna already. Okay? You don't need to make a show. You must see that, yung totoo, that you're loved eternally by our eternal friend, Krishna, and the spiritual master. So, yun. When you leave this world, you go to Krishna. Haribol namaste.
Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestaya Te.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestaya Te.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nayanya. Haribol, Nitai Gaur, Haribol, Haribol. Everybody sing. Haribol. Chaitanya da sing loud. Bhakti Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Vrinda. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Haribol, Nitai Gaur, Haribol. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Haribol, 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 Haribol. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Haribol, Haribol. Haribol. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. 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 Haribol, Haribol. Haribol, Chaitanya Das. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Jaya Jaya Guru Jaya, Jaya Jaya Guru Ranga, Jaya Jaya Guru Jaya, Jaya Jaya Gauranga. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Guru Jaya, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya
Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda,
Hare Bol Krishna.
Paramahamsa.
Hare Bol Krishna.
Jaya Jaya
Hare
Siddhaswarupananda,
Bol Krishna.
Paramahamsa.
Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestaya Te.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda